Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. It's so great to see you. Hello, everybody in the live chat. Hello, watching on the replay. It's so great to see you. Hello, everybody. I want to start off today by just thanking my moderators. Thank y'all so much for keeping an eye on the chat. I missed y'all last week, but guess what? We're making up for it this week. We're going live today, and we will be live on Friday. Everybody say hi to Bailey. She's here working with me today. Hello, everybody. It's so great to see you. Today we are doing block number 8 of All the Things, the 5-inch block. It's a free pattern. Grab it down in the description box. And I just want to go over a couple things before we move over to the cutting board. Y'all, okay, so the mug rug of the month. Have you seen it yet? I posted the thumbnail on my YouTube channel here just this morning. Thursday, this coming Thursday, July the 21st at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. It's an evening live. Hello, everybody. So yeah, it's a watering can mug rug. Super cute. That's going to be a free pattern. And the thumbnail is already up on my channel. You can go grab that pattern, print off, and prepare your pieces and hang out with me live Thursday night. If you are on Patreon, y'all, we are hanging out Wednesday night at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time in the evening. We're going to do our monthly show and tell. So bring the projects you've been working on. And we're going to do the block of the month workshop. Okay, so I'll see you Wednesday. Those of you who are on my waiting list for the frames, the scrolling stitch frames, y'all, we are working on them. I just cut a whole bunch of leaders this morning. I got to sew the edges. And so if you are on my waiting list and we've had a conversation about it, keep an eye out because I'll be sending you your custom order link hopefully like Wednesday or Thursday. Okay. And y'all, we're meeting Friday, 12 noon for block 9. So all the dates for all the things coming up are on the screen. Hello, everybody. Oh, it's so great to see you. So great to see you. Happy Monday, everybody. I think that's everything. Stay tuned to the end of today's video. I'm going to show you, we're finally doing the sewing machine this week, y'all. Not today, but Friday, the sewing machine block. I'm going to show you that, and I'm going to show you the watering can mug rug pattern at the end today. Okay, let's switch the mat now. Switch to the mat. I always feel like when I skip a live that I get out of practice. Hello, everybody. I will tell you what, I've had so much fun this past week camping. Y'all, I got to catch up on so many other channels and come into some lives. Usually the lives during the day I miss because I'm working, right? So while we were camping, I feel totally refreshed. I only worked just a little tiny bit last week. And I got to hang out and watch a bunch of channels that I like to watch. So it was fantastic. All right, so the big block, the 12-inch by 12-inch block, this is what it is. We did more cross-stitching, and I'm not even going to lie. This took me quite a little bit of time to do. So if you want to do the big block, the alternative big block, the link for this pattern is down in the description box as well. If you don't want to do the cross-stitching, y'all, throw this, trace your letters out and throw this on the sewing machine and do a satin stitch. I think you'd get through this lettering and doing the words much faster doing a satin stitch on your sewing machine or a zigzag stitch. If you want to do the cross stitching, I hope you give it a try. I'm a slow stitcher, so this took me quite a bit of time. But look at the butterfly. Isn't that cute? So this is my big block. I love it. And we're making the smaller version today. Okay? It's so great to see y'all. Let me move that out of the way, and I'm going to move over our progress and where we are. So if you're just joining us, these are the blocks that we've already made up into today. And today we're making block 8, which is going to go right there. I just have this row pinned in place. So this is our progress, y'all. Yeah, I got to watch lots of channels last week that I don't usually, usually I'm working during the day. So I miss out on a lot, but it was great. So this is where we are today. Let me show you these patterns. So this is your free PDF that you're going to grab down in the description box, y'all. Very simple shapes this week, right? Simple shapes. I've already pre-cut mine. And then this is your pattern for the alternative big block. So you have the tracing little cross stitch pattern on the very last page. I wrote in what I did with my block. And then you have the tracing templates, right? There's also a cutting file that comes with this. So if you have a cutting machine, you could certainly use your cutting machine to cut out your applique pieces. I don't know if you can see behind me, if it looks a little different. I moved my scan and cut closer to my work table. It was across the room. And every time I wanted to cut something, I'd have to walk around the table all the way over there, walk back and forth. And I was not using my scan and cut, hardly ever. And I want to change that. I have this machine, let's use it. So I moved it. She's right there now. And I'm going to start using it a lot more. Dory said, how would you do cross stitch by machine? I don't know, dear Dory. I've never done that. You know what though? Let me just show you. I guess we could cheat. Check your sewing machine. Yep. I have a decorative stitch on my sewing machine. This little X's. Maybe you could do that. Or you could just use a zigzag stitch. That would be super cute too, right? But my machine has little X's. I think I've only used that stitch 1 or 2 times. But that would probably work too. Probably. All right, so let me turn on my iron and get that warming up. Time to go to work. Let's warm you up. There we go. Oh, dairy. I always say Dari. I'm so glad you said that. Dairy. I did not know that. I'm sorry. I've been saying Dari for like 3 years now. Linda said, I would like to get a cutting machine, but at my age, wonder if it's worth it and have to learn the ins and outs of using it. Linda, I always say you're never too old to learn something new. So if you have the passion and the motivation to learn it, absolutely it's worth it. There's a little bit of a learning curve, just like when you get a new sewing machine, a new embroidery machine, anything new, there's always things to learn about it, right? The awesome thing about it, Linda, is there is not a shortage of video tutorials about the scan and cut machine on YouTube. I have a few, but there are channels that are just dedicated to cutting machines, scan and cut, the Silhouette, the Cricut, whichever machine you get. There's millions of videos that'll teach you how to use it. So you're never too old to learn something new. Danielle said, if you trace the lettering on the fabric, how do you make the little X nice and straight? Mine were not nice and straight. Mine, I don't know that I have a photo that I could show you. I did take a photo on my phone. I just did the little X's and my handshake, so my tracing was all over the place. I have a little bit more control when I'm stitching it, but even then, all of my X's, they're different sizes. I kind of think, Danielle, that makes it look more hand done. Do you know what I'm saying? All of my X's are different sizes, and I don't know that any of them are what I would call exactly perfect, but when you step away and look at it, it all looks the same, right? So, tracing them, they looked a hot mess. Lori said, where can I get the watering can mug rug download? Lori, you're going to find that thumbnail on my channel, so you'd have to leave the live right or after the live. In the search bar at the top of your YouTube screen, type in Lisa Capen Quilts. If you type watering can, it might come up. And yeah, it's in the description box of that thumbnail. All right, so what am I doing? I feel so out of practice. Let's scoot this around. Because first, we're going to baste our layers, right? I have all my pieces already cut. Focus, Lisa. There we go. Let's baste these layers. Today, I'm going to use a brown. Let's use my new alpaca mat. Let's see how that works. I haven't used it yet. Let's get these layers basted. I think my iron is nice and heated up. Ah, Sheila has a great suggestion. She said you could use waste canvas if you were worried about them being even. Ew. I was trying to take the lid off and the lid was already off. Just a little bit of glue. We're going to baste these layers and let that cool down for a second. Jean, I thought so too. Each day is an opportunity to grow. I love that. All right, I'm just drying both sides, and then we will put some applique pieces down. We have just a little bit of layering today, and our little stem piece, you'll see that here in a second. For my flower, y'all, let's put that green side up. I want my little stem piece to come to the very bottom edge, so that when I do my sashing for the quilt as you go, it's going to sew over the very bottom edge of my flower, or the stem of the flower, and close that raw edge up, right? So we're going to start there once this is cooled off. Ooh, I'm going to have to come back because y'all are talking about cross stitching, and I can't read all the comments, so I'm going to have to come back after the live. I always feel like I'm missing something. One said my new pins came in and I love them. Yay! I'm so glad you like them. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. All right, so the only thing I'm really worried about with this flower, it's not really going to come to the edges, the left and the right too much, but I want to make sure that I stay away from the very top of my block, right? We have that little seam allowance that's going to come over right there. So I'm just going to take my heat erasing pen and make sure we stay. Oh, that was not straight, Lisa. Make sure we stay away from where that sashing is going to come at the top of our block, right? That's going to disappear, which is a good thing. So now we can take the paper off of the back of these pieces. Y'all, I'm using my new alpaca. This is the first time I'm using my mat, Angel. Thank you so much. It's the first time I'm using my alpaca mat. Hopefully I don't get no adhesive on it. But I did see where you could wash it, so that's a good thing. All right, so I'm going to start by layering my little stem, right? And then we're going to bring in the flower. I don't smell anything. It has no smell, and I just heated it up. I don't smell anything. I don't smell anything at all. Let's put the flower like right there. Yeah, I had so much fun last week. I got to come in on one of Angel's lives. And then I see Practically Creative is here. I catch some of your videos. Sewing Mod, I catch some of your videos. I usually miss all this stuff during the week. So I was in my camper. Actually, the power went out one day. I think that was, who was I watching that day? The power went out. And then my cell phone died. Last night, I even got to come in for part of Tiffany's live. And she was making some bowl cozies, which were like amazing. Those were so much prettier than the ones that I've only done one bowl cozy. All right, I think that looks really good, right? We're going to fuse those. The light is really bright. That's actually like a pink or a peach color. Let's just fuse these pieces in place. Hazel said, I've not heard of an alpaca mat. I ordered mine from Angel at Halo Inspirations, y'all. And one of the reasons why I went with this one versus a wool mat is because it's thinner. It's not quite as thick as a wool mat. And I kind of like that. I know we're all different. But I like how thin it is. How is the alpaca mat different than the wool mat? Okay, so for one, I just talked about the thickness of the mat, right? This is a pretty thin mat. But if you're allergic to wool, that is a huge difference, right? And then there was this card in there. I'm just going to talk about the mat while this cools off, since y'all asked. This mat allows for flat, crisp seams when you press. The natural alpaca fibers insulation properties draw heat from the bottom while your iron presses on top. Used for quilt blocks, embroidery, or any fabric craft that requires crisp seams. Alpaca fiber insulates better than wool. Has no lanolin, which is found in wool. Naturally hypoallergenic. Lightweight and durable. Dries quickly between use. Odor and stain resistant, that's good to know. And it comes in different sizes. I'm not opposed to the wool mat. I've never used one, but I've looked at them in the shows. But everyone talks about the smell, but the smell goes away. So I don't know that the smell would be an issue for me, but I like the thickness of this mat. That's what helped make up my mind on that. All right. Y'all, today we're going to do nice and easy stitching. I think I'm going to do a zigzag stitch with black thread so that it ties in with my other blocks. Y'all might want to use a coordinating thread. And I thought we could do a zigzag stitch around the outside of the flower and maybe move to a blanket stitch for the inside of the flower. It is so great to see y'all. I dropped the lid for my glue. It's going to dry up, but we're going to move this stuff out of the way. All right, and we're ready to move over to the sewing machine. There, that kind of changed the color of the fabric a little bit. There we go. All right. Okay, so just so y'all know, when I move over here, I'm not going to be able to see your comments so much. So if you have questions specific for me, you might want to hold on for a minute. But y'all, we have so many helpful people here that you can ask your question and probably get lots and lots and lots of help. Okay. All right, so we're going to move on over to the sewing machine. I have some gray bottom line thread in my bobbin, which I've pretty much used on most of my blocks so far. And then in the top, I have some black glide thread. Both of these are quilting threads, y'all, but I like to use them for stitching down my applique too. So that's what we're using today. And just like we usually do, I'm going to tell you my settings, but and it's a good starting place for you. But if you have a different machine, you might want to change them up a little bit or use a completely different stitch altogether. Okay? We're going to start, because this is layered underneath of that flower, we're going to start by stitching down the little stem first, which comes right to the edge of the block, which my machine doesn't like to do. So we're going to start at the very top and work our way to the edge. All right, I have some scraps here. We're just going to see what this looks like before we move in our block. I want a tiny, tiny zigzag stitch. I think that looks good. Let's cut that off. All right, so my zigzag stitch settings that I'm going to use. 2.2 on the width, and then a 0.7 on the length. And you can try that on your machine and see how that looks. And I'm going to start right here at the bottom edge of this flower, and we're working towards the edge today. I think that might be best for my machine. Oh, that top thread wants to come up. Because we're at the edge, I'm going to be able to cut those threads. Let me pull this thread up and out of the way. I feel totally out of practice today, y'all. I still have camping brain. That is not a pretty zigzag stitch. Let me lower that. I think my tension is a little bit off. We're going to come down the other side, and I'm starting at the base of the flower and coming down. No! My machine is protesting being a week off. Hold on a second, y'all. Do you ever just feel like when people are watching you, things go wrong? I do. All right. Let's play with this tension. I'm going to hold this top thread up and see if that doesn't help. And it's a Monday. What was I thinking, y'all? Hold on a second. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves while I get this machine straight. All right, let's bring in some scraps and let's get this tension straight. Ah, that's better. All right, so I lowered my tension, which usually I don't have to lower my tension. That's odd. All right, let's try again. That's better. I feel like I should rip that out, but I don't want to waste y'all's time, so we're going to just keep on going. I'm going to start with the same stitch, and we're going to stitch this little edge of the flower. That helped, lowering the tension. Usually I have to tighten the tension. That's odd. We're just going to work our way right around the edge of this flower. On these quilt blocks for this quilt, I like using the black thread because it sort of puts an outline around each one of the pieces. But if your thread is messing up, it surely shows up, doesn't it? So this flower shape, y'all, has lots of curves. You have the curves that, what are they called? Concave curves. And I forget the name of the other curve. So sometimes when you're curving around the outside portion of this flower, like we're doing now, you'll want to stop if you're doing a zigzag stitch with your needle in the right position in the background fabric. When you get to these inside curves or the valley part of this flower, you'll want to stop with the needle in the left position. See, when I have to move this block this way, the needle should be in the left position. That's going to keep all of your zigs and your zags exactly right. And you won't have any skipped little places that look like a V. I actually think too that I should probably bump up the size of my needle. I think that has a lot to do with my stitch quality today. It is a fairly new needle. I've only sewn with it just a little tiny bit. So I don't think it's because the needle is dull, but I do think that it needs to be a little bit bigger. Working our way right around. I do think, see this stitch? I do think instead of doing the cross stitches on the big block, if you used a really small zigzag stitch like this instead, that would be super cute. Or you could trace the little X's with a micron pin. I think that would look really nice too. And then you're not stitching any of the words. I took my block with me camping, so I got to sit out at the picnic table and stitch those words, which was nice. In the mornings when it wasn't quite as hot, but it did take me a good little bit to stitch out all of that. All right, we're coming back to the beginning, y'all. And I'm just going to overlap where we started. And because we're in the middle of this block, I don't like to use my thread cutter. And yeah, that's a big mess. Let's go ahead and pull the side that messed up out and restitch that. It's only going to take me a second. That was all messed up. I don't want to leave it like that. Just pull that right on out. There we go. Let's make that nice and pretty before we switch over to a blanket stitch. Now, because I'm doing this after I stitched the stitch above it, I do want to do a little back stitch to lock this in place, okay? There we go. There we go. That was worth fixing. Okay, so let's just trim that off. We're going to switch, or I'm going to switch to a blanket stitch. This orangey reddish fabric here, that's a flannel. And then all the rest of the fabrics are just quilter's cotton. And yeah, I think I want to do a blanket stitch to do the inner circles with. And let's just test these out and see. I don't know if y'all can hear my bird downstairs. little bit wider than that, Lisa, and a little bit longer. There we go. I think that's good. My blanket stitch settings, y'all. This is what it's going to look like right there. The width is a 2.6 and the length is a 2.2. And that's what she's going to look like right there. So that might be a good starting point for you if you want to use a blanket stitch. Ooh, I'm sorry. Sorry. Me and this thread today are wanting to go to Knuckle City. I'm going to put the tension back to where it usually is, right in the middle. She's just acting like she doesn't want to work today. Nope, let's put her back down. You just ever have days like that and when you're sewing, where just like nothing seems to make your machine happy? You got a new needle. You've cleaned out the bobbin area, which I did. Not today, but before I left to go on vacation, I did. And it just seems like your machine just doesn't want to cooperate. You notice I'm only taking a couple of stitches forward before turning. That keeps your little straight stitch inside your applique that's going inside from looking slanted or crooked, right? I'm just overlapping by a couple of stitches, and that should lock it in place. And I'm going to use the very same blanket stitch on this inner circle. Just working our way around. So I'm going to cut these little threads right there. I finally feel like she's stitching good now. Now that we're almost done. Maybe she just needed to warm herself up. Like me. I gotta warm up. right, I'm just going to overstitch just by a couple of little stitches, and we're going to call that finished, y'all. All right, so let me just clean up this little stitch right there. I got some fuzzy bits. There's a good close-up of my block. I've got these little threads down here. There she is. You notice that I had some little mushrooms. I kind of wanted those to be directional, right? And then I fussy cut the little mushroom for the inside of the flower. I think that's super cute. But this fabric, y'all, has mushrooms going in all different directions. So this mushroom down here is upside down. Some fabrics are like that. Have you noticed? Okay, let's go back to the cutting mat. And here is our finished block. Let me move my stool back over. Marion said, Lisa, what size needle do you recommend for appliquing this flower and other pieces? I think it depends on so much, okay? So I have a lot going on here. We have layers of applique. We have the layer of our top, our batting, our backing. I used a Heat and Bond light. I think it depends on the thread you're using. I think it depends on the fabric you're using. But if you start running into issues like I did today, where I had to lower the tension, which I don't usually have to do that, bump the needle size up. So whatever you're using, I am using an 80-12 today, but I think it would not hurt for me to move up to the 90-14. I don't think it would hurt, especially for the threads that I'm using. So it all really plays a really huge role, the thread and the fabric you're using. I always start with an 80-12 and see how it does. Today I was having some issues. Jackie said, must I mirror the image? Must I mirror image this pattern for my fusible? If you're using fusible and you want your flower orientated just like this, yep, you're going to want to trace from the back side. If you're using freezer paper, you can trace your templates just like this, right? Debbie Campbell had a question. Thank you, Sylvia. Let me scroll up and see if I can find it. Sheila said, your machine is pouting because you left. I know. Let me scroll up. Danielle, you used to have a sun conure. I think I'm going to have to scroll up a lot. If Debbie's still here, maybe, Debbie, can you repeat your question so I don't have to try to find it? That would be awesome. If not, I'll come back after the live and scroll through everything and answer down in the comments section. Hello, everybody. So here is our finished block. Let's just audition it in place. We will audition. It's going to start not fitting in the screen. So she's just going to fit in right there. And right there, let's just tuck her up underneath of this temporarily. There we go. So there's block number 8, y'all. Don't look real close. My stitches are not gorgeous today. I mean, I'm okay with it, and I'm going to keep it. I'm not going to redo this block. But I am going to mess around with maybe a new needle. Who knows? Maybe I messed that needle up. Thank you, Practically Creative. She asked, how do you know if you need a bigger needle? If you are having issues with your stitches, if you're doing a zigzag stitch and it's not stitching pretty, it's skipping stitches, or maybe you're bringing up the bobbin thread and you can't seem to adjust your tension so it's not doing that, or you're getting huge knots and stuff on the back, try a different needle. Debbie said, I only use 9014 because I don't know what I need. If that works for you, Debbie, then don't change what is not broken. Right? But I usually start at an 80-12. And if I have issues like I had today, then I go up to a bigger needle. The bigger needle leaves a little bit of a bigger hole. So if you're using really thin thread, then you know, that causes issues too. Hey, Bailey, when that's done printing, can you hold on a second before doing the element? Thank you, honey. Sheila said, is it possible your glue wasn't totally dry? I don't think that's what it was, because my glue was dry, and I've never had that issue before. I'm totally confident that it's my needle. Mary said, is there a video for using heat and bond light? Mary, most of my videos I use heat and bond light. Now, what you could do is go to YouTube in the search bar and type Lisa Capen Quilts heat and bond light. And an array of videos are going to pop up. And a lot of them, I'll walk you through the whole process, right? Tracing your pieces, cutting around them, fusing them, and then cutting out your applique. So a lot of my earlier mug rug videos show the whole process. Do you have a link for all of the pattern pieces together? Nope. Or will you, after you finish the Quilt As You Go series? I think once they're all done and all the blocks are out, the bigger blocks, I think I will group those all in a zip file. The free patterns, unfortunately, you're going to have to visit each one of the videos and print off that pattern, right? Because that's where the links are. Tracy said, I hope the patterns are on Lisa's site. I want to try this. Well, Tracy, you're in luck. Open up the description box. That's where the pattern is. Yep, all the patterns for each one of the videos. That's where they are. So that's where we are for today, y'all. Very simple block. Let me show you the one we're doing Friday. And hopefully by Friday I will get back in the groove of sewing. I'll address whatever's going on with my machine. It could just be Monday. That might be what it is. Because that's a thing. Friday, the long-awaited sewing machine block. Thursday, I will have the thumbnail up here on my channel so you can grab this block on Thursday. We're doing the sewing machine. I can't wait for you to see the big block. I'm going to start stitching that today. But yeah, the sewing machine. This will be Friday's block. Wanda, I will check. Hey, Bailey. I'm not sure what you ordered, Wanda, because we've been here live. Did you order something on Etsy?
Did I?
No. Can you pull up the Etsy site for me? Or just click on the Etsy shop?
Yeah.
We'll see if Bailey can check on that for you.
I don't see any orders from her. Only one order.
Miss Wanda, I'll take a look after the live. I don't think Bailey sees it yet, but sometimes the payment processing takes a few minutes. And unfortunately, I don't control that. That's on Etsy's side. But sometimes it does take a few minutes for it to process. Oh, yeah, you got the larger block. Sometimes it takes a minute for it to process. But I will check soon as we're done with the live. And if it hasn't gone through, it should just be a minute. Yes, all these videos are grouped in a playlist. You'll find a link for that right in the description box. Then you can just go from one to the next to the next. Bailey, Trinita said hi.
Hello.
All right, so the sewing machine. This is going to be super fun, y'all. I did do a little sample of this, but it's pinned up on my wall, so I'm not getting up to go grab that. But yeah, super fun. Thursday, you can grab that pattern and the mug rug of the month. This is what we're doing, y'all. This is a free pattern. And this is already up on my channel, the thumbnail for this. The watering can mug rug. We're going to do some applique. There is an SVG file for this. It's optional if you have a cutting machine. So you can cut out your pieces with your cutting machine. And I even included the words in the SVG file. I'm going to play around with it now that I moved my scan and cut closer. It's more easily available with it being closer. I'm going to try drawing this with like a micron pen on my fabric. Maybe later today. We'll see how that goes. But yep, so you can grab this pattern. It's free. And you'll find that on my channel. And we're going to do this live. What day did I say? Let's go back. Thursday. So much stuff going on this week, y'all. I'm off for a week, and then we're doing 2 events, 2 live events, and an evening live, and a Patreon this week. So nothing like diving right back in. Marion said, Lisa, I'm using an 8014 needle to do most of my applique and quilting. I think that was a statement, but you had a question mark behind it, so I'm not sure if that was a question. Oh, she said 9014. Yes. I might switch up my needle size to the 9014 and see if that doesn't work a little bit better. Anitra said, hello, Anitra. She said, are you using the draw feature on your cutting machine to draw your pattern on your fabric? I think I'm going to with this, with the mug rug, because I included an outline of the work. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to try, but yes, I would like to just trace that because I just do not have the time to stitch this. I'm stitching the sewing machine block this week. I think this would be gorgeous stitched on a mug rug, but I just don't know that I have the time to do it. So I'm going to try using a micron pen and having the machine write this out on my mug rug top. We'll see how it goes. Derry said, I am so lucky to have lots of, yeah, a lot. You're going to get sick of me by the end of this week. It's like no nothing last week. And then this week, we're here all the time this week. So if you've been lonely, we're going to take care of that this week. Sheila said, would you hand or machine stitch the words? For the mug rug, I wish I had time to hand stitch them. I really do, because I am enjoying the hand stitching, and I think it just adds so much character and like whimsiness to the projects, right? I just don't think I have time to do it this week before we go live. If I had time, I would do it by hand, but there's no time this week. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much. Yeah, the mug rug is going to be pretty awesome. I love mug rugs, y'all, because, well, here's the thing about the smaller projects. And one of the reasons why I'm doing all of the 12-inch blocks as individual quilts is because I have some bigger projects that take forever. You'll ever do the big quilts, you know, and you just seem like you're working on them forever and like you're never going to get done. That's why I like doing the little projects, because you start something and more than likely you can finish it, unless you're hand stitching like I am. You can start it and finish it pretty quick, right? And you feel like you're finishing something in the meantime of doing these bigger projects. Sheila said, those are a lot of words to stitch. I know. They are. Anisha said, you're the best, Lisa. You are always surrounded by wonderful people. I'm going to tell you, y'all here in the live, I miss this time with you. I really do. And I love the time that we hang out live. We get to do it lots this week. I'm going to tell you what, though. Here's the thing. Usually in the evenings, I watch replays of live videos on other channels, because usually if they're during the day, I'm usually preoccupied working, right? And so I miss a lot of the lives. So I watch on the replay. But last week I got to check out lots of live videos. I miss so much during the week. And yeah. I'm going to tell you what, if you enjoy the videos you see here, there's lots of other channels that are putting out really cool videos. Lots of them are here in the chat today. So let's just, and if I miss anybody, I'm sorry. If I miss anybody, let me know. Sewing Journey Tracy, I don't know that you have a channel. If you do, I'm going to check it out. Okay. Memoirs of a Long Arm Quilter. I got to catch her live last week. Y'all, if you're on the fence about buying a long arm, you might want to check her out. I don't really do too many videos about the long arm. I have a couple older videos, but you might want to check her out. And then Practically Creative, you might want to check out her channel. Angel, y'all know Angel at Halo Inspirations, right? Just scrolling through to see who else I see. If I miss you, I'm sorry. Yeah. And then, of course, last night I got to sit in with dang it. Hold on a second. Do you ever just draw a blank? Tiffany. Tiffany was making the bowl cozies. I'm going to tell you what. I not only watch quilting type and sewing type live videos and videos in general on YouTube, I also watch journaling videos, and I watch a lot of technical videos learning how to do cameras and lots of other stuff, right? I'm going to tell you, the sewing community, particularly the quilting community, the people who join in and watch those lives are some of the greatest people when it comes to having people watch your lives. So y'all are really awesome. Not just here on my channel, but it's something I've been paying attention to. And a lot of the times when I watch, if I am there live, I don't comment because, like, I don't want to distract. But I read the comments in all the other lives. And I'm going to tell you, the quilting community is really, really supportive and amazing. Oh, Lord, yes. Hazel asked you, Sylvia, is there anyone who long arm quilts near you? She can't find anyone. I wish Hazel didn't live so far away. I would quilt your quilts in a heartbeat. Hazel, I hope you can find somebody. Oh, Sylvia said there's one in Sheffield. Check it out. Colleen at Sewing Mod. Yes, I caught her one of her videos too. All right, y'all. I have a lot of stuff to do today. And Bailey's got she's doing some sublimation on some photos this afternoon, or finishing them up. We've got some frames to pack. I've got a quilt to make this week, and a quilt to quilt for someone else this week, and some stitching on Friday's blog. So we are extremely, extremely busy. I want to thank y'all so much for hanging out with me today. I know I seem kind of off. It's Monday. And my machine feels it too. So we're going to get in the groove of things and get back in the swing of things for Friday. Hopefully everything stitches out much cleaner on Friday. I'm really looking forward to doing the sewing machine. I know many of you have been waiting for the sewing machine. I can't wait for you to see the big block. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me today. And yeah, don't forget Mug Rug Live Thursday evening. Okay? That should be a lot of fun. All right, everybody. And I don't know if you noticed, I used patriotic colors because it's July. It's well past 4th of July. So I didn't want to do like totally patriotic, but I did add some patriotic colors. So you could theme your mug rug Thursday if you wanted to, all in your fabric choices, right? The theme of your fabric or the color of your fabric. Okay, I'm off. Everybody, I will see y'all Thursday. Bye.